Lilly Tino, our least favorite trans TikToker, is facing up to 5 years in federal prison. However, there's something else that people are just not talking about. At least I don't see anybody talking about this. I got sent a video of Lilly Tino allegedly talking to a child over the internet, and it's probably the most disgusting, filthy, nasty, sick video I've ever seen. Lilly Tino f***ed around and is now finding out. I have the best news ever for you guys. I'm currently having the best Pride Month ever over this news. It's just something about the last day of Pride Month, finding out that Lilly Tino, our least favorite trans TikToker, is facing up to 5, count them, 5 years in federal prison and up to a $5,000 fine. So you're probably asking yourself, Blair, what did Big Back Cadillac do this time? And specifically this time, it was taking pictures of underage girls and women in public restrooms at Disney without their consent. And I don't want to be too greedy and cross my fingers for a men's prison on top of this, because that would be the cherry on top of the cake right now. But, you know, hopefully Florida does the right thing. And if they do go to prison, he's put in a men's prison. I'm actually amazed for once to see consequences for trans influencers like this who do this type of shit all the time. And I don't know if it's karma, call it, you know, consequences to your actions. Maybe Jesus took the wheel, but finally something is happening to Big Back Cadillac. This is the Florida Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, talking about it.
There was a TikTok influencer named Lilly Tino who is who's taking videos and photos inside of the women's bathroom in Disney. And I'm thinking, well, wait a second. There's no way that this can be legal in the state of Florida, right? This is a transgender influencer. This seems to be first off, you shouldn't be allowed to film inside of bathrooms. It seems really creepy. But then here in Disney, it's extra layers of creepy and wrong. Is there anything happening from a state level on this topic?
Yeah, we're investigating this. No tolerance. We're investigating this one. We've already cracked down on some gyms in South Florida.
So obviously I support this person going to prison. That's a no-brainer. That's a movement I can get behind. However, there's something else that people are just not talking about. At least I don't see anybody talking about this. I got sent a video of Lilly Tino allegedly talking to a child over the internet. And it's probably the most disgusting, filthy, nasty, sick video I've ever seen. And for some reason, no one's talking about it. Even other YouTubers who are trying to, you know, clock Big Back Cadillac are not including this. So let's just watch it. Thank you, Midas Merge, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so I found something actually worth obsessing over called Midas Merge. And I am not saying this lightly, but the creatures in this game are so adorable. So you hatch and evolve them by merging items. And my personal favorite is the Cappy Bird. It starts as the cutest little baby and then eventually evolves into the coolest level 3 creature. And honestly, it's just impossible not to fall for them. But here's the tea. You're helping King Midas and the Queen bring life back to the Gardens of Gold, overshadowed by Nyx, the goddess of night. Merge sunbursts, brighten things up, and save these adorable little creatures while solving Nyx's complex and interesting mystery. And what I genuinely appreciate is that it's totally free, completely ad-free, and then there are just no dead ends. You can play offline wherever and whenever you want. There's no interruptions, just pure, satisfying merging. And here's something special. So the first 100 people to download the game through my link or the QR code somewhere on the screen get an exclusive level 2 U-Turtle. And it's going to be personalized with my name. Cute and helpful. You're welcome. But seriously, Midas Merge is surprisingly relaxing and surprisingly so fun. I can't stop playing. So dive in to this enchanting adventure with me. It's worth every second. So make sure to get it through the link in the description or the QR code somewhere on the screen. Thank you again so much to Midas Merge for sponsoring this video. And now on to the rest of the video. And you'll see why, regardless of anything, this person needs to be sequestered away from women and children in a bathroom or otherwise.
Be honest, Shelbert. Or do you enjoy yours being consumed? Be honest. Shelby's typing. Big moment for Shelby. All right, there's a bomb. Oh, this is my favorite. It's a. Oh, no.
It was at this moment that he knew. He
Shelbert's mom is listening. Now, I am talking entirely about groceries, fresh, but you like, you know, bananas, mangoes, grapes, vitamin C. Jesse likes watermelons, 2 of them, of course. Now, if you had to rank the watermelons on a scale from A to B to C to D, or, you know, even double D, how, just, oh my God.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Oh my God, this chat. Jesse also likes eggplants. Good. My mom said she was born at night, but not last night. Interesting.
So, shout out to the investigation about taking the pictures in the bathroom. That should continue. However, I'm going to need one to be opened on this as well. That was, I don't even need to spell that out for you. I really don't. I don't need to explain to you what that was. And this video, for me, vindicates exactly what I've said for so long. Long before I ever was aware of this video or some of the creepier stuff, the investigation, I've been saying that Lilly Tino is, in fact, a pedo since day one. Because you can just tell. You can just tell.
I was just in the women's room at a cheesecake factory. And when I walked in, there was this little girl, like 3 years old.
I'm going to put a video on the screen right now of a tattoo Lilly just got, apparently, of like a piece of like candy on his wrist, which just, you know, I find it weird when like grown women do stuff like that. It gives stunted, but for you to be a grown ass man with candy tattooed on your wrist, little lollipop or whatever, I mean, all you need now is the unmarked van, right? And for me, if you're talking to children on the internet like that and clearly having to censor yourself when you find out someone's parent is in the room, that also entails that you should not be in any sort of public restroom with children either. There's lists for these things, right? We have apps for these things. Find the creeper near you. You need to be on that. Another trans TikToker actually who stands against Lilly Tino, for which there's a lot of them now, thank God. The days of like, at least we can agree on this one, right? Y'all didn't say anything about Jessica Yaniv. Y'all didn't say anything about Dylan Mulvaney. Y'all didn't say anything about any of them. But finally, Lilly Tino is disgusting enough, is foul enough, is a sick bitch enough to have the trans community on TikTok, you know, upset as well. And a trans TikToker did an interview with this person. Let's watch.
Have you ever communicated with a minor in an inappropriate way?
No.
There's an allegation of a stream and a mom coming in and changing the subject.
The vegetable thing? I made a video about that. That person was 25 years old. There are people in the stream right now in my stream. I guess you can't see them. They were there.
So that was just a misunderstanding.
Because it's totally normal to have to censor what you're saying for a 25-year-old's mother. So even if the person really was 25, y'all are clearly doing some nasty ass age play or something. And I hate that, like, I just have to say, for my own humanity and soul, I hate that I even know what that is because I've had to cover these disgusting people for so long. No, I'm not saying trans equals disgusting. I'm saying people using trans to be disgusting are disgusting, for which Lilly Tino is absolutely one of them. Lilly Tino, as I always say, every day that that person exists, he creates a new transphobe. New transphobe. And the twisted part is like, I know that no one could ever taint me as an individual with any sort of negative light because of their behavior, but I do feel bad for regular ass trans people who are painted with this light of like, you know, there's something to be said about becoming synonymous with trans in people's minds when they know about you and you're famous enough. And this person goes viral enough that there has to be millions of people out there that when they think trans, they think Lilly big back Cadillac ass Tino. And that's just a shame. That's a shame.
If you're willing to go to Disneyland and make the content you make and take bathroom selfies with people that aren't willing participants in the background, posting that for millions of people to see, is there no line you wouldn't cross? Like, when does it stop? Like, what length do you stop going to get your word out or get your message out?
I probably need to be misgendered in space. That's probably the farthest I would go.
Okay, last thing. Would you like the opportunity to publicly apologize or take accountability for any of your actions or to anyone you've negatively impacted?
I'm gonna pass on this.
You never pass. That's the problem. That's the problem. Don't ever say I'm gonna pass. Never. Never. Why are you sitting like that also? You nitpick little things, but they add up when it comes to people like this, because never in my life pre-transition have I ever said, imagine if I just sat like this in videos. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Here's a video of Lilly walking into Disney before the crimes were committed. Walking like a straight terrorist. Walking like a man on a mission. That is a crazy walk. That is a scary walk.
I think Disney's going to ban me for this one. My corn dog is still intact. I'm not happy about that, but sadly it takes a long time to turn a corn dog into a inverted corn dog. I do hair removal every week for 2 hours straight. It is not fun or easy, but once that is finally done, hopefully by the end of the year, they are going to take my corn dog. These ears do not want to stay on. They are going to cut it down the middle. This is not the best knife for this.
You know, I actually okay, maybe I'm coming around now. I support this. I actually support you getting your corn dog removed. I think the world would actually benefit from every direction if you got rid of that. Wow. Because again, to do that at Disney, I have an issue with Disney adults in general. But when we get down to this person, it's kind of like, so here is Lilly responding to the allegations.
Those Disney bathroom selfies got y'all real upset, huh? Saying, oh, Lilly, you can't take selfies in the bathroom. It's not appropriate. Well, let me remind you that literally every celebrity you've ever enjoyed on screen has at one point taken a bathroom selfie. For example, and it's not just celebrities. Any woman you ever meet has likely taken a photo in a public bathroom.
Right, but we're not talking about women here. We're talking about you. And not for nothing, that Kim Kardashian picture looked like that was her bathroom in her house. So I don't know what kind of, I try not to say the same things all the time. And because I never want to be a broken record. But this type of sickness is permitted and has been permitted by the openness of the trans community and their complete lack of willingness to gatekeep at all. You know, it's like maybe just a little bit of gatekeeping could have prevented this, and yet it's been this free-for-all of identity, and the conservatives all along were right that this is what it could and would lead to. And if the trans community just would have stamped that out and been like, we don't do that years ago, you know what I mean? We would have maybe gone through Jessica and Eve and then moved on, and yet we're here at this Lilly Tino character, which is like the final form. It's like it seems like there's always one at a time, right? It's like Jessica and Eve, Dylan Mulvaney. It's like Highlander, bitch. There can only be one. And it's just so crazy because when Lilly Tino attacked me recently and I reacted to it on my channel.
Take Blair White, for example. She is a trans woman, albeit a conservative one. But instead of advocating for change or pushing people to be more accepting with her very large platform, Blair throws trans people under the bus.
You know, I don't need anybody to defend me, stick up for me. I don't need any trans people to be like defending me, right? The silence was most definitely deafening. Like it was real quiet. Y'all are real loud. Y'all are real loud, especially when it comes to Blair White. But when it comes to this big back Cadillac coming for me, it's like for the trans community to not even, I don't know. It's just annoying. It's all annoying. And he's gone on to just completely mock the allegations too with this video.
I am suing Lilly Tino for emotional distress. Last week, I was in Disney World in the women's bathroom with my child. And when I walked into the bathroom, there was Lilly Tino taking pictures in the bathroom mirror. And she turned to me and said, hey, let me get your face in this picture. And I said, no, thank you. But then she took the picture anyway of me and my kid. And I felt this really weird feeling. And I looked down at my kid and my kid got turned into a corn dog. Lilly Tino turned my kid into a corn dog.
My blood pressure. I'm going to start writing these disgusting people off on my taxes because some kind of retribution needs to happen for my health and the amount of money I need to spend on just like de-stressing. Because this is sick. First of all, for you to say corn dog, after you just made a video equating corn dogs to dicks, where does your mind go? Where does your mind go? Second of all, to mock what you know is an uncomfortable feeling from women and their children, from mothers. It's just, there's nothing more satanic. It's to mock motherhood, to mock the instincts that a mother has for their child, to mock that, you know, uncomfortable feeling that women and children have when male predators are in their vicinity. That's how you know he's a predator. That's how you know. There is no divine feminine in this man at all. Because any amount of true femininity, for which men can be feminine, women can be masculine, any amount of femininity in this man's body would have told him that that is not cool to make women feel that, and respected that, and have some level of respect for women. And yet, you're this. You're this. He's also made videos talking about how one day people are going to understand what he did all this for. And, you know, he's an activist. And so one day people are going to look back and say that he was right.
I hope that some people, as time goes on, realize that I am not a villain that I'm being painted out to be. I would love if that happened. But regardless, if it happens or doesn't happen, I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep streaming, keep making videos, keep hanging out with y'all, because I believe in what I do.
You are not Rosa Parks, bitch. You are not Harriet Tubman. Maybe Harriet Tubman, but you're not Harriet Tubman. And I know there's underground tunnels in Disney. I know that, and we should look into that. But you ain't running them. You're not running them. You don't get to mask perversion with activism. You really do not. An activist for what? Where are the fruits from this tree of activism? I always like to ask these people, when they're so dug into these horrible tactics, these repelling tactics, these tactics that actually drive people away from trans people, it's kind of like, where do they get off thinking that that's even the right move when all it does is create hate and resentment towards them? And then by association, all trans people, it's like, activism where? You're activating a lot of people, particularly the Attorney General in Florida, particularly me and everybody else who sees what you're doing, but it's just disgusting. You're not an activist, you're a pervert. I've really come to the conclusion, I just have to say, can I just go off on a little rant? Can I just go off right now? I'm just gonna go off. I am transphobic. I am. You guys pushed me there. And for a long time, it really didn't make sense to call a trans person transphobic, but it kind of does now, because I genuinely am getting this baseline resentment for trans people until they prove me otherwise. I'm not going into the category of blind, resentment or dislike or whatever. But at this point, it's it's causing me to start trans people off on sort of a negative slate. Right? I don't want anybody's human rights denied. I don't want anybody to face violence. I don't want anyone to be hated who is truly a good person. It's for real trans fatigue, because it's becoming a slight survival skill to just have a baseline of distrust, at least for someone who says they're trans or appears like this. I mean, you would have to be a dummy to just be a woman with a child and just be around this person. And you don't need to see the clips of him talking to children over the internet, which, is disgusting and terrible, and please investigate that, whoever can get that cooking, but so we can cook him. But you don't even need to see that to understand this is a predator of many varieties, not just one, because I fully believe this person will probably clock your ass too. I fully believe this person would physically harm you, not just sexually. I really do. That walk, if you saw that walk coming at you, 911. Maybe it's not that I'm transphobic. I just am so tired. I'm tired. I don't know. I guess I see people coming around on Lilly Tino, so I can't blackpill that hard. I see trans people, not for nothing, that hoe interviewing Lilly in the video, that looked like someone who would be making I Hate Blair White video. And in fact, they're holding Lilly Tino to account. And so I appreciate that. And that's a sign that the tides are turning. However, sometimes it's a little too late. I just don't know how people can come back from associating trans with people like Lilly Tino, with people like Jessica and Eve. And, to a less extent, Dylan Mulvaney, because there's no sexual allegations about Dylan Mulvaney, but just the cringe, just the embarrassment, just the humiliation that they're all so willing to, incur on themselves and by proxy the trans community, while calling people like me, people like Buck Angel, the actual bad representation. It's really just sick. It's really just weird. And I'm a little over it. So another important thing before we leave, if you are somebody whose child has ever talked to Lilly Tino on the internet, if you're somebody who's ever been victimized by Lilly Tino, I know that's a Mean Girls reference. I'm not trying to make a joke. That's how my brain works. If you've ever been victimized by Lilly Tino as a woman and or a child, please report it, because who knows where this investigation about the bathroom thing is going to go. But surely something can be done on the books about the video I showed you with the child. So let's just figure that out. And, maybe this can be the saving grace, the healing link between trans people and the rest of the population. Maybe if we can all agree that this person needs to be locked up and that no one else behind Lilly should ever act this way again in the trans community, maybe we can start to restore a little bit of good faith between trans people and the rest of the community. All I know is he's got to go. He's got to go. And it is what it is. Subscribe to me on this YouTube channel as well as my podcast channel, where I also covered Lilly Tino. Go check that out. Follow me on TikTok. I am on TikTok again. Follow me on there. Follow me on X and Instagram, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.